Is your debt causing you sleepless nights? Knock your debt out with Debt KO. And your debt won't be the only thing keeping you up at night. Debt KO, free, impartial advice on all your debt.
Oscar BEVIS, IFL TV, MTK Global in South London today, joined by the Manor, left to right, Johnny Dutch, Danny Graft, Scotty Stacks. How are we, boys?
Sweet.
Not bad. Yeah, a bit frustrated, a bit bored, but not bad. Can't complain.
I'm not surprised. Obviously, boxing, everyone's going to be frustrated, and there was at the start, no shows, whatever, but the music industry, you've had one of your shows cancelled at Brixton, your biggest show yet as well.
Yeah.
Good time to try and bring out music and work on stuff, I suppose, but a bit of a shit time as well.
Terrible. I mean, we ain't. Look, people have had it worse than us, but it has been long. It's just been because we had it the first week, literally the first week of lockdown. We were preparing for the show, rehearsing, trying to get things together. Everyone's messaging us saying what's going to happen, and we're like, well, we don't know. We ain't the government, so. It's
funny. The week of the show, I remember we were literally thinking, all right, do we go and spend all the money that we need to do to get this show right? We're waiting for Boris to make a decision for us. And it was literally last minute. He's gone, no, you can't do the show.
It's lucky we didn't pay for nothing because
we
ain't had the whole of the music scene. Ain't had fuck all.
Yeah.
Like literally no support. If you're a limited company, you don't get anything whatsoever. And we've been told to retrain.
But also, like a little word for the people that put on the shows because they literally have been a forgotten industry. The people that do the lighting and the sound and the stage, man, all of that, them lot ain't had a penny or ain't earned nothing all year. Having a whole summer of festivals cancelled has been diabolical for everyone, really.
Which is why they were trying to make us pay up front a week before our gig.
Yeah, we would have been.
But we normally pay afterwards.
No mug you liar. I said this because I spoke to Sickers actually during lockdown, and I said to him, it's like become quite common in like grime, drill, all sorts of rap music as well for people to put footballers in their bars.
Yeah.
But you boys do it with boxing as well.
Yeah.
So, and that's not as common, but you boys love to chuck a little boxing thing here and there as well.
Yeah. Well, the whole reason we did Tyson Fury was we were probably the only people not the only people, but one of a select few that when he was getting criticised and he was probably getting on it or doing whatever, we understood it.
We were getting on it as well, so
getting on it and talking bollocks on Twitter. I was like, fucking hell, mate, I've been there. So
I missed him at the Euros when he was in that bar in Marseille.
Oh yeah.
And bought everyone in the bar a fucking Jaeger bomb.
I didn't.
Me and my pal walked in. Was you there?
Were you there?
Mate, me and my pal walked in the bar 5 minutes later, and everyone was buzzing, saying Tyson Fury's just there buying them all drinks. Fucking long.
I shit myself. I think was that Euros I didn't come.
Yeah.
So I was scared of the Russians, so I stayed indoors. I watched the England. I had tickets for England Wales. I was like, fuck that, mate. I'm black, mate. I ain't going nowhere near no Russians. No way.
But yeah, he feels like one of us, which is why. Same with like Dillian Whyte. He talks his mind, and we've always supported that sort of thing. And we've got to say, like, it helped us when we supported the streets. We went around the country, and we knew we were going to different places where you've got to try and make an instant connection with people who don't know you. So we thought there's two things people can unite by, which is, at this point now, when he's made his comeback, everyone loved Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
And also, equally, everyone hated Eddie Hearn. Wherever we went across the country, he got us the crowd.
He got us the crowd.
We owe him a thanks.
We do. I don't even dislike Eddie Hearn, but it worked.
Pretty bastard, but
it's pretty bastard. Who ain't know?
Fury's thingy, didn't he? His trainer reposted the video from one of our concerts. Everyone singing Fury's on Fire.
Ben Davis found it hilarious, because we were literally going, when we did like 17 dates, and we did Fury's on Fire, Eddie Hearn is Terrified. We did that before our set at all 17 dates.
That's
and
now become the biggest point of our set, even on our
song.
What did they like? Fury's on Fire. They loved that one.
He's become a bit of a superstar, though, Hearn, isn't he, over lockdown? You know, the whole no contact turn, like probably the back end of last year.
Yeah.
He's become like a bit of a... But you boys actually don't mind him.
Yeah.
Well, do you know, it's like Vince McMahon with WWE.
Same as Dana White. I think, look, it's a bit different. Dana White's a bit of a... I know we ain't meant to talk MMA, but he is a cunt. He does, because he's got everyone there. He gets all the people to fight.
5 minutes and you've already got your MMA in the fucking...
So I had to. No, but the thing is, it's good and bad, because I see Eddie Hearn say, I want to do the same thing as him, and you can see why he does, because he wants everyone under one roof, pay him what you like.
Yeah.
keep him in a contract. Of course you do, but it is good.
He's
for
done
the sport.
wonders for the sport.
Well, this is it.
I mean, I was thinking back to it last night because I was watching one of the interviews, and you always, most time, everyone asks, "Oh, when did you get into boxing?" And as a kid, I used to watch a lot of it. But then I remember the Girl Grows 1 back in 2011 that's probably the start of when he started taking over the game. And where boxing was even then to where it is now, it's all down to him really. So yeah, we cunt him off a bit, but he's done wonders for the sport.
Him and AJ, that little combo, as proper, I feel like taking boxing mainstream. Like I know groups of girls that travel to Cardiff to go and see AJ.
Yeah.
I remember normally it was rule of thumb. You don't really ever stick it on about the boxing because he's either with her dad or her brother. Historically, do you know what I mean? Like without feeding the stereotype, but now you look AJ fights, you'll see big groups of sorts like they're going West End.
It was one of the best nights I've had in sport. Full stop, live sport. Was when me and Scott went and watched AJ Klitschko, and honestly,
spiritual,
mate. I went to the X's first DJ gig.
I remember.
I was streaming it on my phone. That's why we never worked out. As I was fuming like the whole night. I'm trying to.
She made you miss one of our festivals in Switzerland as well. That X. So
yeah, she made me miss a few.
Let's said about her the better. But even that night, and you think about it, it was genuine, like magnetic. Being in that stadium, being Wembley that night, it was different class. And that's he's had a lot to do with it.
At the same time, can we have a little shout out for Warren, because Rob Warren's a family friend, so I'm Team Warren. Basically.
You're not Team Warren.
I'm fully Team Warren. Fully Team Warren.
We're just Team Boxing here, right?
Yeah.
Before we get ahead of ourselves, boys, you mentioned it, John. That whole when do you get into boxing thing. Like if I ask boxers, they say they walk into the gym, the atmosphere, the smell of leather, like they get hooked by that certain thing.
Yeah.
For fans, it's normally like a fight or a fighter. Yeah. So what was it for you boys?
As a kid, I remember the first one was Bruno. I started showing my age now, but it's Bruno Tyson. I think it was 95, 96, whenever. I remember how
the first Tyson one or the...
No, not the first one. The second. The second
one. Who did he fight in between? Because that's my first one. When he won the title, who did Bruno win the title against? The fight before Tyson.
Oliver McCall.
That's it. Yeah.
Oliver McCall. Yeah, but I remember that because I remember my uncles and obviously all my family proper into boxing. So I remember just being around, going down there on a Saturday night and watching it with them lot. And that was when I thought, wow, there's a bit different to the football. It's a bit more exciting. There was a bit more going on. It was a bit more like everyone was proper up for it. And watching it's nothing like sitting around.
I found it mad when I was a kid because my uncles they were Tyson against Bruno, against Lewis, against everyone. They were just Tyson fans. I hadn't seen that. I hadn't seen the early Tyson.
Same. Everyone growing up Tyson was a freak of nature, so everyone was. It was like, who the fuck's this?
I remember the first emotion I felt was Lewis Ruckman.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the first time I actually remember. Before that, I watched it and I was into it, but that's the first time that I was like fucking. It's like I guess you always remember the low times. Like with football, I remember Euro '96.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like because it's the sadness and that fucking the pain. Well, that's what I was just gonna say. Yeah, and then I feel like the first. So it was Lewis Ruckman, and then the first fight that I really remember clearly being like engaged in start to finish and understanding boxing technically was Hatter Mayweather.
Yeah,
definitely.
And also big shout out as well for the night. I remember the big New York nights for the Prince Nassim growing up. That Prince Nassim still to this day, as much as our Fury, there has never been someone as exciting in British boxing for me and as flamboyant. Everything about it. It was like watching wrestling.
Yeah, I feel like my memories of Naz were more of him as a personality.
Yeah.
And his ring walks.
Mate, his ring walks. I used to remember
see his ring walks.
20-minute ring walks.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, hard.
Has boxing lost that showmanship, do you reckon?
No, yes and no. I mean, I look at people like Whyte. Now it's online. It's how much of a statement and how much of a character you can be online through your social media. And Whyte's someone who, even after the AJ loss and even after this Povetkin loss, he's someone that still can unify people and still people want to get behind him because of the person he is.
Front up, innit?
He still fronts it up. He's a real geezer, and I think being real now is now the thing. Whereas back in the past,
the thing is as well, you see 10 times more. Same in music.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have seen people have long interviews and everything else. You see a soundbite.
Yeah.
And it was how good you were in them 20, 30 seconds after a fight.
Or that probably added to the mystery and the showmanship. Because like I say, Naz was just this kind of mythical, fictional character, whereas now everyone's a little bit more human.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Do you boys get to much boxing at all? Like, do you go New York Halls, O2s and that?
I've been to a couple. Scott goes to probably the most.
Yeah, I go. Like, my pal's a Southern Area champ, Danny Carr.
You know what? This is long overdue, really, because obviously that was about a year ago, wasn't it?
Today.
Danny Carr. Was it today?
Yeah, today, 3rd of November.
Won the Southern Area Maiden.
We're doing this interview today. It was the day he won the Southern Area.
Big up Danny Carr.
He's about to fight for, I think he's got an eliminator for the English coming up as well.
Is it?
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Didn't think you'd be breaking some news to me as well.
There you go. He's always got the news around here, mate.
I think it's going to be in fucking mad demand because I think people are just going to want to do as much as possible. So when, can we see you boys ringside when things get back to normal?
I miss it bad, man. I've been all over. I went to Mayweather Pacquiao in Vegas. I saw Lomachenko, Rigondeaux in Madison Square Garden.
I forgot you went to that.
Yeah. I was in Berlin when for Fury Klitschko. Managed to find an Irish pub where it wasn't all, because all the Germans support Klitschko, didn't they? So I managed to find some friendly faces in the Irish pub, but yeah, even like the shows at the York Hall and the Brentwood Centre, like I miss it, man, miss it a lot.
I bet you can, going down the road, getting a little bagel, trotting down the fucking York Hall. Can't beat it, mate, can't be a night like that.
York Hall's sick because of the balcony, innit? It's like,
hey?
It makes the balcony at York Hall, it's just when there's a sick fight in there and the crowd's engaged, it's like a fucking gladiator arena.
It's a nuts York Hall, and it is a nuts.
I love it, man.
I think we might as well talk all things heavyweight, innit? Because that's where the money is, that's where the talk is, and that's where all the fun is as well. A weekend, Usyk Chisora. One, would you make of Usyk? Obviously, only second sort of foray at heavyweight. But and would you make of Dell? Obviously, Dell put his bollocks on the line. I think he gave a good account of himself.
I think he did. You
were
quoting him.
I weren't quoting him. I weren't careful because he's, degrees of distance. We know him a bit, but in terms of what I expected him to do, I expected him to fight a smarter fight. He got popped up. He started well, and he was always going to start. Same way Bellew started well against Usyk. But with these sort of fighters, with these mad boxing IQs, they're going to take a couple rounds to work you out. Then they're going to start popping you off. So you need to have something else. And I was watching Dylan talk about it last night. It's like he went in early and hurt him, and he didn't have anything else. He didn't have another plan B. He didn't throw any shots to the body. I ain't going to get too technical, but it went exactly how I expected. I thought Usyk was probably going to pop him off for about 5-6 rounds after an early onslaught and then probably knock him out late doors. And he gave his performance 3 out of 10, which goes to show you how good I think Usyk can be and how much trouble he can cause to the likes of if he gets in with an AJ or a Dylan Whyte, or you know what I mean. So I think it was impressive.
Still think he beats them?
I don't think he beats AJ,
mate.
I think Dylan White struggles against Usyk, and I love Dylan White, but I think he struggles against Usyk, mate.
He came in the ring fucking 15 stone, Chisora's at the back end of his career. He's like, you could see he'd come in and tried to get him out in the first 6 years, which is what he had to do. And I thought, you know what, that wouldn't have been a bad tactic even then, because I thought Usyk probably wouldn't have taken heavy shots like that. So if he's landing a bit on the body, even if he was landing on the guard, it's gonna fucking tire your arms out. Do you know what I mean? But for me, he needs to put some size on and fight at that size, because you walk in 15 stone against AJ and he's going to put you on the floor. Sorry.
You'd think so. But then again, you look at Deontay, that nut job. He's someone who's proved that you can still knock out. I mean, he's to go do someone like Luis Ortiz and knock him out, and at 15.5 stone, maybe less. I think he went in that fight. If you're good,
I'd say Deontay Wilder's been fighting them big guys his whole career,
good point.
And he's used to hitting them with power, and he's used to feeling their power. Whereas I'd be interested to see Usyk against someone who's young and fit at that division. Do you know what I mean?
Talk about that size, and yesterday Frank said that with Usyk's WBO mandatory, if Dubois comes through Joyce, you can have them two on.
You know, one of them young boys. Dubois, someone who's
dangerous,
big,
mate.
young, fit,
Scary.
and a heavy hitter. I feel like that'd be a really.
He's going to destroy. I'll say it now on camera. He's going to destroy Joyce, mate. Sorry. I've never been
about anyone against him,
mate. I've never been so unimpressed every single time I watch Joyce in terms of how stiff and robotic this man. And Dubois, he'll catch him once and it'll be curtains after. It'll be
the best thing of Joe Joyce is the flips he does at the end, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, he's so stiff in the ring and then does mad gymnastic flips at the end of the fight. Like, can you not find a middle point between that? You know what I mean?
So, long story short, with Usyk, you boys don't think that Joshua Fury will be having sleepless nights watching that Chisora performance?
Off the back of that performance, if I was one of them, I'd be a little bit more confident than I was before the fight, personally.
Yeah.
But I just think, again...
He took shots, though. I feel as though you're not going to take much more than what Chisora hit him with in the first few rounds. And some of them shots he took, and then he still got himself into the fight and boxed around him.
I don't think he wore him down, and I don't think he had enough in towards the sort of last 3 or 4 for them early shots to take their toll.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. As I said, I think AJ beats him, but I feel as though it's a difficult night. It's a difficult night, and then AJ's had difficult even against Povetkin and the likes. He's had difficult rounds to get through and that.
I felt like Povetkin had AJ in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, he definitely did. But
good.
When you got that equaliser, it's game over.
I was at that fight.
I thought everyone left to go to the pub up the road and I couldn't get in, and then come back, realised no one was actually there.
You got kicked out of the Rascal. I was with you that night. Did you not?
I got chucked out of the Rascas. I ran off with my pint and said
of his own local.
My own local. Then went up the road to where I'm barred, thinking everyone's there, and no one was there, and they wouldn't let me in, so I watched it outside of my own.
What, through the window?
Through the window.
You mentioned Povetkin, obviously. Stopped Dillian, well, knocked Dillian out cold earlier on in August. I mean, we're doing this at what? I don't know, what's the time like? 2, 3 o'clock, and only about an hour ago we found out that Povetkin's tested positive for coronavirus, puts their rematch off. Yeah, that's a ball ache for Dillian, that, isn't it? Because you said this, he was in banging spirits the last couple of weeks.
He has. I mean, must have been in camp now for about fucking 2 years. Like, he's like gone straight. He had the long old camp before the first fight, and he's come out and he's had to get ready for the next one. He's just like, I feel as though, part of me feels like he's the unluckiest fighter in the game, isn't he? Really, like,
that's got to be that goes down as one of the moments though. Like back in the day when he said a Hatton or someone or Nazim or anything, when he got knocked out. You know what it reminded me of? We said it, innit? Hearn.
Oh yeah,
Garcia. When we felt like he was in control. I remember you felt sick. You felt
perfect thing for that, because the same way in that Hearn Garcia fight, he was popping his head off all fight. It was comfortable, and then he. Split second.
That's Danny Garcia though.
Yeah, Danny Garcia's got that.
That's him.
I didn't know he was at that point. Like it was.
But it was. He boxed so well, and that's the thing. That's the best Dillian. I think it's the best Dillian's box up until that knockout.
Tell you what, though, was strange. I don't know. You might know this better than me, but I heard that he did his camp in Portugal with just his strength and conditioning coach, which is someone who's been so meticulous for his career and worked so hard.
He got rid of
to the point where he's proper banging down the door now. It's like it just seemed a strange move for him.
Well, there was obviously people saying that getting rid of Mark Tibbs when he's taken you this far, and looking at the reasoning behind that. But yeah, he spent his campaign in Portugal. He's back out there doing it again, and yeah, just a shame, really, isn't it? I mean, does this work in his favour in the fact that people have always said, or people have said since, he could be jumping into him quickly second time round? Could this work in his favour, or are you just looking for something there?
I thought same way with AJ. When AJ lost to Ruiz, I thought him jumping back in and going and having that in December when he had it last year, it was the bad decision, because normally if you get knocked out heavyweight, you need time to recalibrate and get your head straight, and maybe a couple tune-up fights before you go and take that rematch again for you to win, because it normally ends up in a loss. Maybe it would, but the way he fought in that fight, it was one mistake. It was a casual mentality going into that round, and he ended up getting caught, and it was an unlucky shot. I think he's prime. I think he would have dealt with Povetkin, if I'm honest. So I feel it's a bit unlucky, if I'm honest.
AJ Fury, place you out on that one. It's a big one.
It's difficult. It genuinely is difficult, because I love both of them. Right now, I've always said the same. I think Fury is unbeatable, personally.
I think he takes him apart completely.
Yeah, I don't think it's that easy.
I think he completely dismantles his technique. I think if you look at Fury Klitschko, and Klitschko is someone who's an imposing fighter, an intelligent fighter, and very technically sound, and Fury absolutely picked him apart. And I feel like he'll do the same with AJ.
He always rises.
AJ is a better athlete, but someone who's, in my opinion, less skilled than Klitschko was. And I feel like the gap.
He's learning all the time, though. Could you say that? Then I know Ruiz weren't in the best shape for that rematch, but he fought a completely different fight for AJ that fight, and it showed that he could do. He's got more strings to his bow.
But he took Andy Ruiz.
He wouldn't fight
Tyson Fury.
He's not going to fight. AJ ain't going to fight Fury like he fought Klitschko. He's not going to fight him like he even fought Dillian. He's not going to be engaged. He's going to know it's going to be a very cagey sort of boxing match.
Can AJ fight that sort of fight and win?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he wins.
Can AJ stand off and fight technically and rely on his skill?
He wants to take it old school and go at him.
Yeah, I feel like he honestly dismantles him completely.
Yeah, I don't think he wins, but I feel as though it won't be a dismantling. It'll be probably points Fury. If right now, if I say I put points Fury, I don't think Fury's knocking him out.
I'd also say points, but I would say a convincing points victory.
Well, he stopped Deontay. I've got to talk about Deontay and the excuses. I mean, someone said yesterday actually that
He
he's
just blamed us. Apparently, he said he was listening to us in the dressing room. Fucked his head.
Fucking wanker.
I mean, someone said yesterday on Twitter, there was like, he's 2 weeks away from saying he was pregnant in the build-up. I mean, look, I like Deontay, and I think the heavyweight division needs him, but obviously he has come out with a lot of excuses. We started with the ring suit, which was only a couple of weeks after the fight, and then it's got to the point now where he says his trainer Mark Breland was disloyal when he put sedatives in his water.
That's the most thing he's done.
Do you know what? Like... Honestly, he needs to get his head checked. I don't think he's fit. I think he's had too many punches to the head. When I saw the video, first and foremost, you don't laugh to yourself if you're making excuses. He's sitting there on his own, overlooking Vegas, wherever he was, laughing to himself, making excuses like some sort of cartoon villain.
Everything's a speech to him, isn't it? He's got that pastor thing about him. I think, ain't his old man a pastor or something?
Maybe.
That's why he's got that.
He definitely needs God now. I'll tell you that for free.
He's talking so like...
It's all a TED talk, isn't it?
Yeah, bro. But I feel sorry for him because I feel like, okay, great, he didn't fight a lot of great fighters coming up, but he never... Even all things considered, you would have thought he would have had more support in America. Eddie Hearn said it. Like, his promotion... didn't do him a justice, because even if you fought 40 cunts, like, it's still, you're knocking people out, and I feel like now he's probably done his ego must be all over the shop.
Say that, but for me,
heavyweight world champion in America, and he wasn't a household name.
That's what I'm saying.
Mental.
If you're a
That's
star,
why he's reacting like this now, because he just feels like fuck, man.
But
like,
if you're a star, you're a star. Simple as that. I know boxing, but
he's a soundbite man. He should be a star as being a bit of a div.
Something ain't connected with the American public, because he should everything. He ticks all the boxes. He should be this huge superstar. He should be, you know, I know boxing ain't where it was in the 90s in the heavyweight division, but he should be this superstar, and he don't connect, and it's because of shit like this.
Yeah.
Like, the fact of the matter is, if he fought, and this is why he's making excuses, because he lied and said that that AJ was ducking him, but then on Twitter the other night he's come out and said, oh well, he gave it away. Like, really, he dodged AJ to take the Fury fight. Reason being because he thought Fury had been out for 3 years and it was an easier fight, and he'd get the AJ fight afterwards. But he's fucked it because he's never gonna get. I can't see him ever. Why would AJ need to fight him? He don't like. So now he's fucked it, and now he's making excuses. It's all business, and it's because he's made the massive mistake by losing to us, jumping in with Fury.
You'd be like, you think I should just let this cunt get sparked out.
Yeah, well.
Like,
have you seen even now his little weak pitch to try and get this third Fury fight, and talking about, oh, well, Tyson Fury, when you were down, I promised you that if you sorted yourself out, I'd give you a fight.
He missed the deadline.
You're tearing up the contract. What sort of man are you? And all
mate, he missed the deadline.
Sounds pathetic.
Fury was ready. Like, you've seen it. Everyone watches Fury on him. He's had Kronk over for the past fucking what feels like 6 months. He's over up in where's he? Morecambe. Yeah, up in Morecambe. He's training. He's ready. He was going to take it. They had until a certain date. Am I right on screen thinking this? They had until a certain date to agree for the third fight. Didn't take it.
When you go back.
Week later, he comes out chatting shit.
She's floating about, and then she gets a new fella, and you're fuck me. I want that now. I'm all over it. I'm a new geezer. I'm going to change. It's bollocks.
I don't want to see him again. I think he needs to be sectioned personally, but it's not very PC.
Could you see him calling it a day completely?
Yeah, because I don't. Unless he's going to fight for pennies. Where's the money?
I do. That's one thing I've always hated about boys. He's very, again, why I like MMA, and I shouldn't say it, but because and it's why people are so careful about their fights, because the reaction that you get in the community about when you have a loss, and it's like, just people should be fighting.
Yeah, you say that. Some of the greatest fighters have lost massive. You go back to the 80s, 70s, you know. Everyone lost because they fought each other.
That's what I'm saying. You'd much rather that.
You had, when you had the four in the middleweight four in the 80s, you had, fucking forget his name now, the Durans and the fucking Hearns and Hagglers. They fought each other, so they lost against each other. Simple as that.
It's all been commercialised now, and everyone's just trying to
protect the brand
and protect the bottom line.
If Deontay had fought AJ, he might have still got the Fury fight. He might have had a couple more fights, multi-million pound fights, but he took that road and he's fucked it, so good luck to him.
I want to talk about something now that, I don't know, we've seen like the crossover from the YouTube celebrity side into boxing with that KSI Logan Paul.
Yeah,
obviously.
No, we ain't doing a fight.
No.
Scott might.
Right.
I will.
How's the fight now, is it right?
I just done it again last week, not great.
I was going to say that because obviously the levels that KSI and Logan Paul are on, they was always going to do pay-per-view numbers, and we understand how logistics behind it, but as people in the music industry and people who are boxing fans, and obviously the boundaries have been crossed now, would you be happy to see people in the industry going to boxing? Do you like the sort of celeb YouTube boxing crossover thing? Regardless of whether you like KSI and Logan, do you like the idea of the boundaries being crossed?
I like that.
I don't like it, but it's life. It's got to accept it, innit? If you've got Instagram followers, you can do what you want now, innit?
Yeah.
There's a lot of pricks in this industry. There is a lot of people that deserve to get knocked out as well.
I think do you think you're alerted though? Because there's people who might not have ever watched boxing anyway, might come over to it, and if not, they wouldn't have been watching either way. So, tell you what I did like though, Little Man.
Oh,
yeah.
Big up Bouncer and Little Man. Big up Bouncer and Little Man, yeah.
Mate, that was class.
Jamal was padding him for the before.
Was he really? Yeah.
My pal.
I've got to say, because I saw online that Bouncer did all of that, you know, he self-promoted that, he put it all on himself, and the quality of the show, it's worth the £5, and I respect that.
£5 a year. Fucking value,
I respect that.
Well.
The build-up.
Best fight of the year.
I mean, the first people I think half banter bit was like, no, these guys are proper, mate. I wouldn't fight him.
Yeah. It takes a lot, and as anyone will know, wouldn't know because I never stepped in the ring, but listening to everyone else, it takes a lot to be able to step in the ring anyway, so you've got to respect that. And if you can make a lot of money...
him as well, Little Man, mate. He's got that Prince Naz about him.
Right, so, yeah, he's a bit of a unit. Could he fight someone tall?
What, like a bantamweight?
Yeah.
Our mate Lagaloo wants to fight him, apparently. So
shout out Lagaloo.
Well, you know what? That Little Man fight was on the same day as... I believe there was a BT and a Sky show that weekend. Yeah. And I think he was on earlier in the day. And that evening he was trending above some of the fighters, so there's obviously room for something like that.
Was that the cruiserweight? Was that the
Breedy Storticus?
Was that the same night? That was the same because I watched that fight. That was a good fight as well, that was. But yeah, I get it. I mean, they were specialists. They were specialist fighters. They're for people that are proper into their boxing to watch it. But yeah, it's about how you can market it on social media. If you can't do that, then, you know, boxing isn't where it was. So you have to come across, there has to be some sort of middle ground.
Sometimes
in terms of
it shows
things.
as well, you just got to think, when you do things for like a £5, people take a punt on it. Certain box offices could end up selling 10 times more because you're doing just a little bit cheaper.
The KSI Logan was cheaper than normal box office.
$9.99, I think.
Yeah, it was $9.99. Did I pay for it? I did pay for it. But that had who was Haney was on it, and Billy Joe was on it, and so you got Billy Joe and Haney and that, you know, whatever you want to call that spectacle for £10, so it was worth it.
That Little Man found an angle though, because that weren't just influencer boxing, that was vertically challenged influencer boxing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It's a division that's never been.
Do you know what I mean?
They used to do it 100 years ago. They used to be them sort of fights. What's Bobo Kemp anyway?
You mentioned Billy Joe a bit earlier. The middleweight scene's gone off the boil a little bit, innit? But we want to see one of the Brits fight Canelo. If you boys had to pick Callum Smith or Billy Joe, which one would you prefer to jump in?
Billy Joe.
It's got to be for just for all the
Billy Joe every day.
For the build-up, Billy Joe.
You know what? Who was thinking back to Callum's last, not the one gone, John Ryder, Callum Smith fight, and I big up John Ryder. I know he's a Manor fan as well, but he was fucking different class, and I thought he beat him personally. I watched that fight and I was really disappointed with the scorecard that night. I feel as though, and I don't want to say this because I respect the Smith brothers and what they've done, and he's a powerful fighter, Callum Smith. I feel as though he would get torn apart by Canelo. Whereas I feel as though Billy Joe, smarter boxer, might not be as exciting a fight, but he's got a better chance.
Yeah, but I feel like in terms of Smith as an opponent, it may not be quite as skilled as Billy Joe, but he's a big youth.
Yeah, no, he's massive.
Big and long and rangy and awkward. And Canelo won't have fought no one like that before.
Well, that's the thing. But he did because he stepped up and he's fought when he's fought.
He's tall though, Smith.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He's a tall guy and he could.
But that's the thing though. Because where John Ryder he's small. He's like he's about your size, and he picked him apart. When he fought a small guy and he got inside and he gave him a lot of trouble, and that's what Canelo would do. He'd use that blueprint, see what John Ryder, and he's a better fighter than John Ryder. So he'd see that and think, well, I'll dispatch him quickly. But
Billy Joe for the build-up.
Billy Joe for everything, mate. I love Billy Joe. He did, and I don't know what happened, why he didn't get it. Because it was something happened in the build-up to that. Because he was supposed to get it, then he didn't get it. But yeah, I'd like to see him do that.
As long as he stops bullying crackheads out of his Rolls Royce.
Yeah, I didn't like that, to be fair. He's a wind-up, isn't he?
He is, but it's a bit sore, isn't it?
And if not, Billy Joe and Callum Smith?
Yeah, like that. Every day of the week.
Well, look, we need a pay-per-view on November the 21st now to replace Dillian and Povetkin.
What do you reckon? Could Dylan get a replacement, or do you reckon he'll just postpone it and then we'll go again in March or
You'd
whatever?
think show scrapped or take the undercard and have the undercard as a free-to-air.
He don't want to lose that money just before Christmas, does he?
But there's no gate there, is there though, and it's not going to do numbers in a replacement fight. So it's not like the venue's booked and everything, like, and there's loads of fucking tickets are going to have to refund. It's a different proposition now. So I feel like they'd be less inclined to find a replacement in the current climate. Do you know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
Cheers, mate.
Right, boys, just finally before I let you go, a couple of updates. So where are we at? So obviously, like I said at the start, you had your show cancelled in March.
Yeah.
You got, can't pan the camera because the fucking tripod's too stiff. You got all your merch here. Yeah. Scott are in your lockup. Things look to be going well. You just need to. You don't need a second lockdown, do you?
No, we don't.
Who does?
No,
fucking
no.
hell. Well,
Fucking
saying that,
does.
my packaging business is doing really well in it. So
Hey, well,
selfishly,
you're retraining as a boxer, aren't you? I'm going to be a comedian. John, what you up to?
Chef. For Ainsley Harriott take me under his wing, yeah.
For the meantime, but no, next year, I mean, it's going to be what last year was meant to be.
Everyone who watched, we did a live stream just before lockdown, and we must have played like all the music we're sitting on, and we must have about 30, 40 songs, and we've made more during it. We want everyone out and about and enjoying, because with our music, you need to have a drink with it. You need to have a bit of as your father with it as well.
And you want to have a party, didn't you?
Yeah, you want to have a party. So we want to. The show is still happening in March. So hopefully, I pray to God it's happening in March. Music should be coming before Christmas.
And we've been preparing something in the meantime. We've got something big for you that we wanted to do.
Got a couple of big announcements.
Couple of big things up the sleeve.
Shitloads of music and all.
Yeah.
Shitloads.
So bear with us.
We will drop music before Christmas, but we're not just going to drop music for no reason. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
I was going to say, don't go Buble. Don't go Buble.
Just turn
number one.
Defrost in December, innit?
With a couple of Christmas covers and Furies on Fire, little EP.
All right, boys, lovely. Yeah, I said it was long overdue, and there we go, 35 minutes. First up
mate.
from Manor.
Shout out you, brother.
Shout out Oscar.
Is your debt causing you sleepless nights? Knock your debt out with Debt KO. And your debt won't be the only thing keeping you up at night. Debt KO, free impartial advice on all your debt.